Hi guys, welcome. This is my first video on this channel. I created this channel basically for the homeowner, just to give them another option in working on their own furnace without paying someone to do it. Obviously in some scenarios you will need to hire a professional, fully licensed, insured professional. You don't want to find somebody off of Kijiji. Do your research, Google it, see what's going on in your own town. Reviews are great, Google reviews are great, but some things you can do yourself. Okay, cleaning the flame sensor, you can do that yourself. That's not on the gas side of things. You don't need a license for that. It's your own home. That's something very simple. Cleaning out your drains, your drain lines, just simple things that we're going to go over. And then as the channel progresses, hopefully I can get a better camera, better lighting, things like that. But as I said, this is my first video, so sound might not be great. I'm recording on my phone. Hopefully video's good, and maybe I can show you some things, and maybe you can take something away from it and save yourself a service call in the future. Especially now, everybody's kind of on lockdown right now with what's going on in the world, and if you can save somebody that you don't know coming into your house, that's great for you and them. Because I know right now, going into different people's houses every day, it's not fun. You never know what you're walking into, and it's kind of scary, but we're all in this together, I guess, right? So this right here, this is my furnace, this is my home. I'm finishing my basement right now, so it doesn't look fantastic, but this is my furnace. It heats my house. That's what it does, and I can't change that right now. But this is a very popular furnace. It's made by Carrier. Pop the door off here. So, two-stage gas valve. You can see the high and the low settings there. It's an ECM venter motor, as well as an ECM blower motor as well. So it is high efficient. It's got the 2-inch CPVC pipes going out the wall. It doesn't go up a chimney. In Canada, we haven't been able to use chimney vented furnaces since 2006. So, or should I say they haven't been sold since 2006. But what we're going to do, we're just going to do a couple things here. First thing we're going to do, we're going to kill the power. Before you put your hands anywhere in here, just kill the power, because you don't want to find out, okay? If there's a bare wire, something's got pinched, and you rub up against a piece of metal, you're getting shocked. Most likely it was short out below fuse anyway, either on the board or at the panel, but you never know. So let me just see here. So on this furnace here, so this is my venter motor. This whole black housing right up in here, that's the venter motor. These are my pressure switches, high and low. This is my drain trap. So you have 3 lines going into it. They can plug up. That'll be another video. We will pull that all apart and clear out all the drains. Further up, this is my gas valve. Like I said, you have your high, you have your low, and on-off switch. You should never really need to touch that. This is your intake out. That brings fresh air into the burner box. And you'll notice this has 2 wires. So there's 2 components that sit in the burner box. One is your HSI, which has 2 wires, and one, if you look over here, is your flame sensor. And that just has 1 wire. So this is the guy that gives most people issues. It's the most common issue with a furnace, and what we're going to do is just show you how to clean it. Now on these ones, they're notorious. They're terrible to get to. It's actually sitting behind this intake. Don't mind the foil, that's just taped up because the cap's missing. But it breathes from this side, so it's no bother. So basically, you would take this off. Now what happens, let me put this back here. When your flame sensor's bad, your furnace will start up. You'll hear the Vetter motor run, it'll go through its sequence, the HSI will light, burners will light. 5 seconds after that, give or take, burners shut down. Vetter motor stays running, it might power down and then power back up, depends on the furnace. HSI will come on again, burners will light again. It'll knock off again. So, let's pull this guy off of here. So this is the main wire, it goes directly to the board. There's no breaks in it, it doesn't stop for anything else, it goes right to the board. So to make this easier, just a flexi bit, and the bit is just a 1/4 inch hex head, and I'm just going to take, if I can, like I said, it's not easy to get to. Okay, so there's the screw. There's the flame sensor. So if you look at that, there's a little bit of rusting there, just discoloration, and that's what happens. Because literally, it sits right in the flame. So it's going to get carboned up, sometimes a bit rusty, but you're basically just going to clean it up a little bit. Steel wool is best. I don't have any steel wool right now, so just a bit of crit cloth and just lightly sand it off. Just kind of clean it up a little bit. That's good. While you're here, it's not bad on this one, but clean off the connection. So you make good contact. Okay. Now, if this rod is ever loose in that porcelain, or the porcelain's cracked, anything like that, then you do need to replace it. But the majority of the time, these are, fairly bulletproof. Nothing really happens to them. You should never really need to replace this. Just clean it off every once in a while if it needs it, and then put it back in. So, let's get this guy back in here. I always put the screw in first and try and start it with my finger, just so I know it's not going to drop back out in behind where I can't get it, because you do not want that. Let's see over here. So, right up in there. So I've got that started. So as you can see, it's loose in there. I'm going to tighten that back up and get it all back together. Always make sure the end of your connector is tight, fitting. You don't want to lose connection. If it is, you can simply tighten that up with a pair of needle nose. Mine is fine. Tuck the wire back in, and you're good to go. And that's the flame sensor. So for now, we're just going to stop there. You know, at a later video, like I said, we're going to go over many more things with the furnace. We're also going to go over basically using a multimeter. You can actually check the reading of the flame sensor to know if it actually is low or if it's possibly another issue. But that's always good to check first, because if you don't need to pull that out, if you don't have an extension bit, like I said, it's very hard. So if you don't need to pull it out, measure it first, and you might not have to. So they don't always need to be cleaned. You know, if you're doing a maintenance on your furnace, just because you're doing a maintenance to clean it, you don't necessarily need to clean it. If you fire that up, it's giving you a nice high reading where it should, there's no reason to pull it. But yeah, that's it for now.